Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. As you can see, it's fall and the leaves are falling like crazy. Today was a little bit windy and knocked down a whole lot more of the leaves. Boy, tomorrow I've got to go down the country, so maybe if I have time, I'll go up on the Shenandoah Parkway and get some pictures, because this time of year it's absolutely positively beautiful, the colors and everything. I've been accused of being a bit of a troll. Somebody actually said that I'm the biggest troll on YouTube, and I don't really y'all think I'm a troll? I don't just go out trolling just to troll. I try and go out there, put out real numbers and facts and things, and let you decide what's real or not. And more times than not, it's because I actually see a narrative that's not correct with these talking shows. I was talking with Skywalker Steel, shout out to Skywalker Steel and the Dallas Cowboys Network. Make sure you check out his channel. Okay, brother is relaunching his channel and starting all over. And believe me, I understand what that's like, because, a couple of years ago, 2 years and a couple of months ago, I lost my other channel. And it was devastating for me. It was literally devastating, because you lose this is like losing family. And it's the truth, because there's so many of you guys that are my friends and family, and I didn't know how to deal with it and stuff. So he's relaunching his channel. So definitely go over there, hit the thumbs up, say what's up, what's up, what's up. And subscribe to his channel, so that way he can get his numbers and stuff going. But anyway, I was talking to him earlier today, and I have this theory, because I like to think of us YouTubers. I know we're not considered experts. We didn't go to ESPN, University of Broadcasting, or Fox Sports 1 or NFL Network. We're not former NFL players and stuff. But I kind of look at it like this. ESPN is kind of like a general practitioner. You go there, you get your physical, they check your blood pressure, they draw blood, make sure, everything's in the blood looks okay and all that. And they look in your eyes to make sure you still got two of them. And they take a little hammer and they go on your knee to see if you got reflexes, right? But if you have a real problem, they don't know much about it. They're like a jack of all trades, but not a master of any. So if you got a problem with your knee, your knee's going sideways, you go to a general practitioner, he's going to be like, here's a referral. You go see those guys, because they specialize in your problem. So you go see an orthopedist. Well, that's what you get here on YouTube. I'll take Vosh's word on college film breakdown over anybody on ESPN. Brother, that's all he does. That's his specialty. And he knows more than any of those guys out there. In the same way, when you're on a Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel, somebody like me or Law, or, some of the other guys that are Skywalker and stuff, we constantly are looking at focusing on the Dallas Cowboys. We're not looking at all 32 teams and soccer and basketball and baseball, because, see, they're the general practitioners. We are the specialists. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I specialize in the Dallas Cowboys and the NFC East. And some people take when I say, Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in the division, they'll say that I'm trolling Carson Wentz. And when I say, well, Carson Wentz is, got the second most fumbles last year, they say I'm trolling. No, that's a fact. That's not something I made up. So let me go ahead and piss off the Eagle fans and the Washington fans and the Giant fans right now. The question here is, right now, Dak Prescott's hurt. He's gone. He's no longer in the equation for 2020 season. So looking at the NFC East right now, who has the best quarterback? That's the question. Now, Carson Wentz was on a team that went 2-14. He played in 13 of those games. Lost his job, was unemployed, and came to the Cowboys. They ended up getting the number one pick, drafting Joe Burrow. And they're happy with that pick. He's a young guy, not costing him a lot. He's playing well, so on. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. How about that? Let's look at the Washington football team. Dwayne Haskins, number 1 pick last year. Didn't start at all at first. Worked his way into the lineup. Disappointed. Coaching staff fired. New staff comes in. Ron Rivera. 4 games in, he gets benched. And mysteriously, he keeps getting sent home for stomach ailment. And we're kind of hearing rumors that they're working on trying to trade him. And what we're looking at is, say, a Josh Rosen situation. Josh Rosen, drafted 1st-round pick by Arizona Cardinals. 1 year later, they're like, nah, brother's not it. They draft a new guy, and they ship him out to Miami. Miami's tried to trade him, but they can't get a ham sandwich, not even a potted meat sandwich for him. So that situation isn't real good. Enter Alex Smith and Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen, former quarterback, backup of Cam Newton's in Carolina. Didn't show too much, got injured. Alex Smith comes in. Alex Smith, having not played in 2 years, coming back from a spiral fracture. They put up 78 yards passing last week. I might say that that's the worst quarterback situation in the division. Just them. Enter the New York Giants with Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, before this weekend, they had not scored more than 16 points in the first 4 games, averaging 12 points a game. But they got to play the Dallas Cowboys, which, of course, means you're going to score some points. Has been a turnover machine, even more so than Eli Manning. Led the NFL in turnovers last year. Danny Dimes, well, I like to say he's broke and needs to go to a payday loan. So now, drum roll please, who's the 3rd best quarterback? Carson Wentz, Andy Dalton. Eagle fans are going to say, of course, it's Andy Dalton. We got Carson Wentz. He was once an MVP candidate. Carson Wentz is great. But hold the phone for just a minute here. So far this year, Carson Wentz, if we equate his numbers out for a full season, this is what it equates to. 60% completion percentage. It'll come out to about 3,801 yards, 19 TDs, and 22.4 interceptions with a 68.5 rating. Ouch. That number is so far from his 2017 season, which he was a legitimate MVP candidate before he got hurt. Now, Andy Dalton has only played a quarter for the Dallas Cowboys, so we can't really go by very much from that. So what we need to do is let's go back to last year. Last year again, Cincinnati was 2-11, a terrible team. Terrible team across the board. And he played in 13 games. If we multiply it out, use the average of what he threw for in those 13 games, multiply it out by 16, we'll get numbers for a baseline of what we should expect. And with that team, that same team that he was with, that didn't have a CeeDee Lamb, a Michael Gallup, a Amari Cooper, and a Zeke Elliott, and a Dalton Schultz. Okay? So keep in mind, you have these playmakers on the Dallas Cowboys. What we have here, if he had stayed and played 16 games last year with the Bengals, he would have had a 59.5% completion percentage. Carson Wentz has 60 right now. He would have had 19 TD passes with the group he had last year if he played 16, which is the same as what Carson Wentz is on pace for this year. He would have had 17 interceptions. Carson Wentz is on pace for 22. I'm not even going to talk about fumbles. I'm not even going to put the fumbles out there. We'll just leave the fumble. We'll let you know that Carson Wentz will win the fumble battle. How about that? And if we look at yardage, if he had played all 16 games, he was on pace for 4,300 yards. Carson Wentz this year is on pace for 3,800. And here's the funny thing. Even with being with the Cincinnati Bengals, and you can't look across the board and say that they had elite talent, his rating was still last year 10% higher than what Carson Wentz is this year. Wow. 78 versus 68. So if you just take those numbers right there and put him around with better talent, you'll probably see Andy Dalton's numbers being a lot better than what you're going to see with Carson Wentz. So Eagle fans, feel free to get pissed off. Go ahead, call me everything but a child of God and that I've got no credibility and things. But there's the research. There's the numbers. Just is. And what's funny is I go a lot by the numbers. A lot by the numbers. And here's the funny thing. I remember before the season started that Philly 500 said to me that the Eagles were going to win the division running away by at least 2 games. And it wouldn't be the Cowboys at least in second place. He said that they were going to go 13-3 or 12-4. To go 13-3, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. But I realized something today. You know, it sucks having the global pandemic, you know, being locked down and stuff. But see, we don't realize how fortunate that we are because of what I'm doing right now. Yesterday, I was lucky enough to go to my parents' house. You know, I wear my mask because my dad's 81, my mom's 79, and I don't want to risk my parents. My parents, at their age, when I got there yesterday, they're gardening. My dad's working on building this clock that looks like my sister's house. He's built one for all of us, and they stay busy. For that age, they get around better than I do. They hadn't had to have knee surgeries like I have because my dad didn't play football. You know, it didn't get him busted up and stuff, and maybe he was wise about that. But I did a video about it, and it was really cool because, you know, I shared it with my dad, and, you know, he sent me a message back and, you know, said your mother loved it, and it was great. I sent it to your sister, and she loved it and things. And I realized how cool it is today because what we always say is be careful what you put on the internet because it'll always be there. And we look at that as a bad thing. But as I look back and thinking about my grandfather, I can remember him, you know, bits and pieces. He died when I was probably about 16 or 17. Because I remember him chasing me as a little kid, you know, and saying, ill-forgotten turkey trotting, frostbitten, no good, fly-blown buzzard. He was a Marine who was in the South Pacific. And he had these hands that were huge. And see, he would always chase us kids and say, boy, I'm going to kill you. You know, he'd grab you. He could take that one hand and just literally grab you in the chest and pick you up. And you'd be like, ah! But I remember he had suffered a stroke, and my mother actually took care of him. His leg had been amputated. He had a trach tube in his throat. And I remember him saying to me, one of the last things I remember him ever saying to me was, and him mouthing it through the trach tube was, boy, I'm going to kill you. And that was his way of showing love. But all we have are a few pictures, a few black and white pictures of him and things growing up. I don't have anything with his voice on it, you know. We have 8mm movies, and probably by now they faded, of when we were kids going camping at the beach and things like that. I need to go through and see if there's still images on there, and if they can be put digitally. But that video that I did with my parents and the other ones that I put up there, My kids, when they have kids, can go back and say, this was your grandparents. And you can see them in real time and hear their voices and things. And it makes you realize how good we actually have it. And helps you make you realize to appreciate the things that you have. The world's bad, but it's also really good. And that's all I got to say for tonight, guys. I'm going to be on the road tomorrow, so probably won't be quite as many videos. So somebody else take up the YouTube sphere. And as always, I want to thank you guys for listening to me mumble. Peace out.